Hare Krishna, dear viewers, dear devotees. We welcome you all to a very, very special episode of आपके मन की बात हमारे साथ. आप सभी ने कल के सेशन में भी इसका अनाउंसमेंट सुना होगा. दर्शकों, आज का हमारा सेशन पूरी तरह से एक इंग्लिश सेशन होने वाला है. जी हाँ, टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू हैव एन एंटायरली इंग्लिश सेशन एंड that is because we have an international guest today, somebody who is born and brought up in Berlin, Germany. And this is our fortune to be able to speak to this extremely special and important person. In order to introduce our today's guest, I have a list of things in my hand, and this is because I don't want to miss out on even a single detail. So, our guest came in contact with ISKCON devotees in 1988, and then he joined as a brahmachari in Vrindavan in 1989, after which our guest joined the Padayatra. The Padayatra, in which he was an active part and active member for 10 long years. After this, he got married, shifted to Pandharpur with his wife, and established the Shri Shri Radha Pandharinath temple. Our guest also started the ISKCON Dindi Yatra and Padayatra Maharashtra. In 2005, he moved back to ISKCON Vrindavan. And for 19 long years, he was looking after the goshala there and he established the Bhakti Vedanta Eco Farm. From last 5 years, he has been doing services as ISKCON Minister for Cow Protection and Agriculture in the northern part of India. So, again, this is the first time I have a list in hand while introducing a guest. And as I said, this is because I did not want to miss out on even a single and a small detail. All of us know that Mother Cow, whom some of us worship, are not in a very good condition in India and in the whole world right now. And it is our collective responsibility to come together and think of ways how we can serve the mother cow effectively and in the appropriate manner. As of today, there are many, many people who claim to be worshippers and protectors of Mother Cow, and ISKCON is one such institution who's fighting with all its might and the power to save Mother Cow from all sorts of exploitation. Today, we have with us the Minister for Cow Protection. Who better to speak about cows and their protection? I welcome you. I welcome amidst all of you, His Grace Sanak Sanatan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for taking out your precious time and joining with us tonight.
Yeah, well, so nice for having me, and we can start with the questions.
Sure. Prabhuji, just like I had your introduction listed down, I do have a list of questions with me. Again, because we do not wish to miss out on any important aspect. But before everything, let me just ask you, what is it about Mother Cow that attracts you to her personally?
As devotees of Krishna, we want to join the cowherd boy on the planet of the cows. His name is Gopal or Govinda, and the place is called Goloka Vrindavan. So, without being interested in cows, why we would join the supreme cowherd boy?
Right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Your answer makes absolute sense to us. And viewers, I would like to request you to please share this session as many as people as possible, because this is like once in a lifetime chance where you are not only listening to Prabhuji, but you also have an opportunity to ask your question directly. Nobody is going to answer your question on behalf of Prabhuji, but he is going to do it directly. Also, let me tell you that Prabhuji is not here to answer his personal questions. He is representing ISKCON as an institution, and he is advocating on how ISKCON protects mother cows. So this is, again, I would like to remind you, a very, very special night and something that all of us should make most out of. Prabhuji, now we would like to learn about the philosophical values that guides ISKCON for cow protection. I'll frame the question correctly.
Okay.
What are the foundational Vedic and Vaishnav principles that guide ISKCON's cow protection efforts?
So when Srila Prabhupada left his body, as well as stressed by his guru Bhaktisiddhanta, as well as stressed by his guru Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they all had a strong desire to also, besides the preaching mission, re-establish Varnashram Dharma. So in the moment we speak about Varnashram Dharma, then the center part of all these ashrams, the maintenance part of the ashrams are the grihastas, and the producers in the sections, the Kshatriyas are protecting, the Brahmanas are teaching, the Shudras are helping out, the Vaishyas are working, and one of their main works is cow protection and agriculture.
Okay.
So this, from that point of view, it is multiple things. When we're looking from a rather scriptural point, or I would even say from a Hindu point of view, you have spiritual items, you have deities which are spiritual, and then let's say you have material things, and then you have material things which are as good almost as spiritual. Like a tulasi plant looks like a normal basil plant. In Latin it's called holy basil, but the cow, inside the body of the cow are all the demigods. Even Lakshmi resides in the dung. So if you worship Mother Cow, you get such a pious credit, you get such a punya, you get such a sukriti, like with hardly anything else. So point one, cow is one of our mothers. It's another point, another important point. And if you want to actually do organic agriculture without cow dung, that would be almost impossible. So we can keep on going and going and going and going. So and Srila Prabhupada says that cow protection is a backbone of the Vedic lifestyle, of Brahminical lifestyle, and we can see that cow slaughtering is the backbone of this demoniac civilization.
Very true. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing with us this very, very beautiful insight. Viewers, it's actually a very beautiful symptom of every little devotee out there in the world to see Krishna's presence in even material things possible out there. Very beautifully, Prabhuji, you mentioned about how Mother Tulsi Maharani, is also just appears like a random ordinary plant, but devotees know what Tulsi stands for. Similarly, it is our right as Hindus, as Sanatanis, to understand what mother cows stands for. And as you rightly said, that cow protection, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, is the backbone of Vedic lifestyle. And on the contrary, cow slaughtering is the backbone of demoniac lifestyle. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I hope. Yes.
Srila Prabhupada had very clearly envisioned that every preaching center in the city should have a farm. And in this farm, we would produce milk and milk products. We produce vegetables and grains, and that will be eaten by the devotees on the farm. This will be eaten by the devotees in the city temple. Excess could be used in a restaurant or even sold. And his vision was that the preachers, the brahmacharis or vanaprasthas, or they stay in the city temple, and the grihastas with their children would be staying on their farm and sustaining themselves by producing simple living, high thinking. That was a view. So we have neglected that view, and because earlier I mentioned Varnashram Dharma, what comes important is that when we are staying as a brahmacharis in the temple, and later on we're deciding we can't handle that, we want to get married, we're not pure enough to become a sannyasi, then we're struggling how to maintain now. And then we have to usually venture out into the world. We have to work, 9 to 5. We have to do the rat race like anyone else, and we end up mixing with kamis. So when we are staying in the cities, our children in the cities, they have to go in the normal school. They're mixing with the normal people. So many of our own devotees are not actually becoming full-time. It's a long sequence of things which will happen if you don't do step A, then B, C. This will all go astray.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Prabhuji.
then again, we have the city temple. Okay, let's you ask the question. So.
Prabhuji, thank you so much. I see the excitement, I see the enthusiasm, and I am already hoping that we are going to learn a lot from you. Also, Prabhuji, the next question is, I have it here. Could you elaborate on the concept of the cow as mother and the bull as father in Vedic culture, and how this understanding shapes ISKCON's approach to their care?
So the mother situation is relatively simple. In the beginning, you drink the milk from your mother, but then most of the children also, as a next step, have more demand for milk, and that will be nurtured by the cows. And then in a normal situation, what we think is normal right now, we're living in a flat and we have current and a television dish and we have a car and the water is coming and the electricity, we have a heater, we have a cooler, we have a washing machine. That is has become the normal situation, but actually in a normal situation, instead of a tractor, you need, in a Vedic setup, you need the bull for plowing your field. And
Right.
the cow and the bull, you need the cow dung for fertilizing your agriculture.
Mm.
So that means in ISKCON, when we say the mother cow, treating the mother, basically the milk would go to the deities. And that kind of, in a sense, makes a cow almost like a pujari, because she's directly supplying to the deities and supporting the deity worship. And the bull should be used for plowing the field. So we can see, I've been 10 years on Padayatra, and besides that, I'm traveling a lot. We see many fantastic goshalas, and you see healthy and first-class cows with big milk bags in the goshala. But then technically the ratio would be 50-50, and you should see the same number of beautiful groomed and trimmed and clean bullocks or bulls. But that is usually not the case.
Right.
So when we have to, even in ISKCON Goshalas, we have to always be very careful that because we're taking out the mother milk from the cow and we're providing that to our deities. We're providing the milk to our deities. The deities are happy. We are taking the prasadam. We have to be very careful that down the line no bull gets ever been taken out from our goshala, because these days in time, if you drop an animal out of your own realm of accountability, it always ends up in the same place, which we don't want to mention here.
Right. True. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Everything that you're sharing is just picture perfect, and the dots are so nicely connected. I mean, there is absolutely no loophole, no damage, and no place of exploitation. As we started discussing, Prabhuji, we spoke about exploitation of cows and the slaughter of cows. And you're constantly talking about how the mother cow, she supplies milk, and the milk is being used for various purposes, including the milk is offered to the deities, which makes the cow a direct pujari. Now, talking about milk and the dairy product consumption, my next question to you is, how does the principle of ahimsa, that is non-violence milk, translates specifically to cow protection within ISKCON regarding dairy consumption?
Well, the deity ministry and the cow ministry and the GBC have all come together, and basically we are stressing now that at least the deities in every temple should be, at least a strong effort should be made that the deities should be supplied with ahimsa milk. Ahimsa milk means it is a huge difference. If I buy milk in the market, I don't know in Mumbai how much it costs. Let's say for our sweet supply or something, you buy milk in wholesale. I would say these days it's like 45 rupees a liter if you buy greater quantities. So if you produce milk which is ahimsa milk, this is at least 200 rupees a liter. So it is very much more costly, because in any commercial situation, they buy the cow and then they milk the cow, they make the cow pregnant almost on a yearly basis. And then to get the maximum amount of milk production, if there's male offspring, they will sell it off. When the cow becomes useless, they sell it off. So they don't have any overhead besides the milk producing animals. Whereas in the moment you start ahimsa, you will have cows will sometimes they get mastitis, and then only one nipple or two nipple will not be working, and the other. So you have less production. Still, you take care of the cows, and the cow becomes old. You take care of the cow. Maybe every second offspring is a bull. And the bull is not because we not have hundreds of acres and 100 devotees who are plowing with the bulls. So the bulls will be also there, not that much productive besides the dung. So then ultimately, and when a calf is born, basically next 15 to 20 years, you have to take care of that animal.
Right.
So when let's say when we are producing 50 liters milk, that will we will have a goshala of 30 cows or 40 cows for that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas an outside person maybe have only 3 cows for that.
So this is the situation, the current situation. This is the world that we are living in. But thanks to ISKCON, Prabhuji, you mentioned that 3 governing bodies have come together and they're ensuring that not even a single cow is left for exploitation and for slaughter. Prabhuji, my next question to you is connected to Srila Prabhupada's vision of simple living and high thinking. How is ISKCON striving to fulfill Srila Prabhupada's vision of simple living and high thinking through cow protection and sustainable agriculture?
I was running a farm in Vrindavan, and we were pretty much food self-sufficient for the farm. We were providing almost 6 months of grains, 6 months of grains to the temple. I mean, for the whole temple, and flowers, and in the winter also vegetables. Vrindavan is very hot, so in the summer months, no flowers and no vegetables. So it is possible, and it was fully organic. We had our organic pesticides also. We were even growing sugarcane, and in the village next to us, they were making in the traditional way a gur. So we had our own jaggery. We were growing mustard seeds and sesame seeds. We had a small oil mill. We were pressing the oil. So this is all working out. The difficulty, I have to honestly tell you, is, as I said, Srila Prabhupada envisioned that the grihastas are living on the farm. The problem is that most of us are city dwellers, and we are rather in the mode of passion, and not many people like to change into an sattvic environment. That is our biggest drawback, that devotees have a hard time. Like many times I bring guests to the farm, and first I show them here and there and this and that, and we have a nice organic meal, and then we sit down. There will be questions, answer, and at some point comes that quiet moment, and there is like no sound whatsoever. There is no distraction whatsoever, and you hear your own mind. And that's then when people look at their phone or at their watch and say, maybe we should go now. So it is our biggest drawback is that not many people are ready to live that lifestyle. Sorry to be a little negative there. That is a problem. So we have the know-how. We have many farm projects all over the world. There is ample of place to link in. We have how to do it. We have fully figured out. That's not a problem.
Absolutely. Prabhuji, the awkward silence that you were talking about is an eye opener for so many people and in so many situations, because that is exactly the point when you realize I have to do something to break this ice and I have to do something to distract my mind. Because as you said, the silence is so deep that you can hear your own mind. Viewers, this is a very, very important thing for all of us to learn. We have to practice to stay in this silence, because only then can we mirror ourselves. Also, Prabhuji, you truly mentioned that not all the people who live in cities are okay to adapt to the sattvic lifestyle, or are okay to shift their houses and their setups completely to the farms that you mentioned. Is there any way people living in cities can continue to support the farms or devotees like you who are striving on behalf of us? What is the way we can support you?
Well, the first support is that when you come to Vrindavan, you take a stroll to the goshala, and I wouldn't even say you give a donation. That would be also nice, but you buy a couple of laddus, you feed the cows, you touch the cows, you come in contact with the cows, you appreciate the cows, and you show the people who are there that you're appreciating that. And the next step is then everyone if you have a rooftop or you have a balcony, put down a couple of pots and grow some tomatoes, grow some beans, grow a little palak, do something, grow tulsi at least. Start something in that direction. And then obviously we offer seminars. Come and take a seminar, or maybe come for a weekend and stay in the farm. I mean, start somewhere. Try to reconnect somewhere. Like if somebody first time comes to the temple and he said, what should I do? We tell him chant 1 round, right? We're not selling come for Mangalati every day and chant 16 rounds. We say, hey, again, try to read that book and look, here's a mala. Try to do something.
Absolutely. Prabhuji, it is so beautiful to know that you're encouraging all of us to take little steps towards this big, big mission, which can only be fulfilled if all of us come together. It is an important thing to understand, viewers, that even if little drops of water come together, an ocean can be created. So I think it's high time for us to come together and support devotees like Sanak Sanatan Prabhuji, who are asking for nothing, absolutely nothing, but just some dedication and some responsibility, because this is our world and cows are our mother. Moving on to the next question, Prabhuji, you just mentioned about some workshops. So my next question is linked to that. What educational programs and workshops does ISKCON offer to raise awareness about cow protection?
Yeah, we have the cow protection course that we're offering now all over the world, and we're bringing out a new issue of that. I think we're repeating it every 3, 4, 5 months now. So anyone can join that as the first thing, and then always you can visit, find out your nearest farm, and first of all make a visit and see what. Back to the last question. There's one more important thing I forgot. Please. Preach to your children about the cows. It's not that the milk is coming, from the dairy across the street, or from the mother dairy. No, it comes from the cow, and where the cows and how important the cows are. And bring your kids to the farm and take your kids on a holiday where there's some simple living available.
Right. Because children are the future of the nation, and children are the future of the nation.
Yes, kids are the future.
So, Prabhuji, when you say anybody can join the educational workshop, how does the registration work? I mean, is it online, offline, and what exactly do you focus on?
It is online. It is online. It is a Goshala manager's course, but it is also part of the Feed the Earth initiative. So anyone can join and get a general idea of what's going on. It's a couple. It's not that many sessions. I think everyone can take it. Then you get an idea what it means to take care of cows and what is the ISKCON standard of cow protection. And then anyone who wants can get a little piece of, if you're not live in a super big city, like you're living in Mumbai, to buy a piece of land or rent a piece of land, you have to drive 50 kilometers. But anyone who lives in a little bit more rural setup, if he really wanted, can rent himself half acre land, quarter acre of land and grow something. Prabhupada says that's all it takes. Take 1 acre of land and grow your vegetables, have 1 cow, have milks and vegetables, and grow some grains, and you're being taken care of.
Right. So these workshops are a good orientation setup where one can orient himself about what goes in and out. And then I think these setups and these programs can be a reflection for everybody. I hope viewers, after the end of this session, we all realize how important it is for us to come together and raise our voices for cow protection. Prabhuji, my next question is, with over 100 farms and goshalas globally, how does the Ministry of Cow Protection and Agriculture coordinate and standardize practices across different regions?
Yeah, for example, I'm one of the cow ministers for all India, but then I'm particularly the cow minister for North India. So I have 4 other for East, South, and West. And we're right now on a drive, me and 1 or 2 more assistants, but at least Rasananda from Bhopal, 2 of us, every at least 6 months, 2 times a year, we're visiting all the goshalas and we're checking the standard, and we're counting the cows. And at the end, we obviously leave a form behind what we feel recommendations which we would see to be changed within the next 6 months until our next visit. So the same drive is there, and the same thing is happening in east, west, and south. And so we're making a very strong effort to at least our own goshalas get them fully under control and fully up to standard.
Wonderful.
And the same thing is there. This cow ministry is happening under the supervision of Carla Kanta Prabhu. He's from Brazil, and he also has a home in Mayapur. So he's driving that same initiative all over the world. But most of the cows are actually in India.
So, Prabhuji, are these surprise visits, or do you inform them beforehand?
They're informed.
Sure.
It's not like we're coming, hey, here we are. It's not in a goshala. It's not like your father and mother-in-law are coming or something, and you quickly have to clean up your house. It's not like in a goshala. Even if I tell you 2 weeks before I'm coming, it's not like you can fool me or something. And when I'm coming there, you can. That's not like that. We don't need to come last minute and catch them in the act or something.
Right. So, Prabhuji, the next question that I have for you is a question that is in everybody's minds. So, I hope everybody looks forward to your answer. How does ISKCON ensure the economic sustainability of its cow protection projects, especially given the commitment to lifetime care for all animals?
So, in Vrindavan, for example, besides that, we're giving the milk to the deities, so the deities contribute something to our cow sustainability. We get a lot of donations in Vrindavan, but we also have what we call Gomata products. So we have a whole range of almost 30 products which we make from cow urine, cow dung, from ghee and milk and butter. So and cow dung as well. We have a huge range of products, and we make a lot of income from that. So obviously, most of our ISKCON goshalas are running on donations, at least in India, very much running on donations. In the West, usually the amount of cows are less, and they actually sustain it by giving ahimsa milk, or just if you have 5 cows and you have 5 acres and they graze on the green grass, and you cut some grass and create some hay for the winter, the expense is not so much like in India.
Right. My dear viewers, Prabhuji has emphasized enough on this that most of the goshalas in India run on donations. And Prabhuji also gave us an answer on how we can, as city people, support these goshalas. And I firmly believe that we are all going to come together for this very, very important cause. Prabhuji, the next question that I have for you is, what is ISKCON's stance on the commercial dairy industry, and how does it reconcile the need for dairy products with the prevalent practices in the commercial farming?
Even at least in the West, many people become vegans because when they see the cruelty in these commercial farms, they do not want to drink that milk anymore. So it is a huge amount of violence, point one. And as I said earlier, in order to make that sustainable for them, selling the animals and selling the bulls and sending them to slaughterhouse is part of keeping the milk at that price, point one. And on the other hand, there's a lot of there's a lot of adulteration is going on. I mean, if you go to some of those factories, if you see that and that stench, which is the smell or whatever, I'm not saying it's everywhere like that, but you feel like never ever touching a milk product again. So, but it is, as a bottom line, I said the backbone of demonic civilization is this cow slaughter. So it always ends up with the cows being exploited. It is not the cows are there to be worshipped. It's like It's like you have a tulsi plant at home.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You have one?
I have 3.
Okay, so just imagine, I suggest you, hey, Saturday in the evening is a lot of people in the temple. Please put your tulsi in the courtyard, and please put a little sign, give 100 rupees and pluck one leaf. Yeah, you make a shocked face, but squeeze out the milk from the cow and send her away afterwards seems to be okay. It's the same thing.
Right.
So people are not aware. Everyone like to drink milk. Everyone, more than milk, people like butter and ghee and curd and cream and so many things. But what they're really taking, what is actually happening, that people do not like to think about.
Right. I also never thought about it this way, Prabhuji. I mean, this is extremely deep and personal. And if we think about it and if we associate it with something that we have, that we like, that we personally have, then it starts to, it makes you think, it makes you go into that bubble of overthinking, and then you dive into guilt and shame. But I think it's high time for us to understand it this way, and try and keep ourselves in that position, and just even understand how fearful and how unpredictable the situation is. Thank you
And,
so much, Prabhuji, for opening our eyes. Do you
and
have something to add?
yeah, I mean, in reality, and it seems to be very difficult to get through with that. I many times say, look, man, instead of ghee, in the Shastra also sesame oil is very highly appreciated, and you get organic sesame oil, wood pressed. It is a very pure ingredient. Nobody would mix something else in that, and you can buy that in the market. What is the harm in consuming that? Or what is even the harm of offering that to the deity instead of offering an item which is maybe labeled ghee, but who knows what's in it? But it is very hard for people to, what is that, make this paradigm shift.
Hmm. There is also a cultural shift involved, Prabhuji, when we see something that our parents have done, our grandparents have
Yes.
done, their parents have done, then it becomes sort of a hereditary thing, and it is very, very difficult for us to completely change and divert our way of living. But as you said, things today are labeled and they are adulterated to levels we cannot even imagine. So it is always, always safe to offer something that you know for a fact is pure, even if it's sesame oil. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The next question is, Prabhuji, what are the long term goals and aspirations for ISKCON's Ministry of Cow Protection? Are there any new initiatives or expansions planned?
One major shift we're having is that these days we're not suggesting anyone to open a goshala unless you have agriculture attached to that. Because it does not make any sense. Because the cow dung is the most valuable thing in this whole game. It's not the milk. And instead of selling it away cheaply, you put it into your own field, and then you grow vegetables, as Srila Prabhupada suggested, for your temple. You grow flowers for your temple. You grow grains for your temple and for your devotees, and also you grow your own food for your cows. It's a sustainable model.
Hmm.
If ever any crises are coming, like in Vrindavan, I have a big go down full of wheat straw,
Hmm.
which can go maybe 3, 4, 5 months. But most of the food I'm giving to my cows is fresh grass, corn grass or bajra or jodi grass, and that comes from the auction in Mathura. So if there's any crisis, COVID was a big crisis, or if there is a diesel crisis or something, or a tractor strike, then nothing will come to my goshala. So how long I can, what will happen? So whereas if I have a goshala and I have a farm, then this whole thing becomes a cycle, what Srila Prabhupada had suggested.
Mhm. if we have a goshala and a farm attached, and so that will bring independence. I think we will not be dependent on absolutely anything, and it will be sustainable, as you said. And I feel like this is the best business model, because we've all learned that cow dung is the best fertilizer. It is a natural fertilizer, and if we have like 2, 3, 4 cows, they will give us enough of cow dung for enough of fertilizer. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Again, Prabhuji, one challenge you spoke, and that was not many people are living in the farms in the setup that Prabhupada proposed. Other than that, what are some of the biggest challenges ISKCON faces in its cow protection endeavors, and how are you working to overcome them?
Well, it is always space. We need more land. We need more land. We need more land. So wherever there are goshalas, there is always there could be always more land. Very few goshalas have. I haven't seen one which has too much land that doesn't come ahead. So we need more land, and we need more devotees who are ready to do the simple living part. Besides that, yes, and everyone's conscious. If everyone becomes more consciousness of the whole thing I've presented so far, and teaches their children about it, if everyone is a little bit more looking in depth into the whole idea of crop protection and agriculture, we'll get more support.
Right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I also believe and hope in this very direction, that this particular session proves a turning point in many, many people's lives. And together we come, raise a voice, and create a world which is safe for us and safer for the cows. Prabhuji, next question, which I really look forward to. Does ISKCON collaborate with other organizations or governments on cow protection initiatives?
Yeah, in Maharashtra, we have the vice president from ISKCON Pune. His name is Svetadip Das. He is part of one main of all over Maharashtra board for crop protection and agriculture. So yes, in some areas we're working together with other people. We're taking part in their conferences, and we're showing our crop products, and we're interchanging ideas. Yeah, in many places we're working together with the government. And we're taking even sometimes street animals, and we're giving them support, and we're giving know-how. Yeah, it is not so much, but wherever an opportunity arises, we're always happily taking that.
It's always good, Prabhuji, to be open to new opportunities. When you have in your mind clear what you want and what you don't want, there's no harm and no risk in associating with other people, as long as your boundaries and your aim is not compromised. We are very, very fortunate to speak to you, Prabhuji, this night. It is bringing a lot of change, at least in my consciousness, in my life, in my decisions henceforth. Prabhuji, the next few questions are going to be deeply personal about you. We are trying to understand your psychology and what brought you to this field, to this position, to this guest that you with us right now. So the first question is, what inspired you to dedicate yourself to the Ministry of Cow Protection and Agriculture?
First, I joined in Vrindavan, and then I came in contact with some devotee who preached me about Rajmandal Parikrama and Padayatra. So he introduced me to Lokanath Swami, and then I ended up on Padayatra after I did the Rajmandal Parikrama. So there we were fully depending on the bulls. We were walking, we had a tractor, but our main deity cart was Gaunitai deities and Srila Prabhupada deity, and one second bullock cart was driven by bulls. So without the bulls, you cannot have Padayatra. So we were fully depending on the bulls, and eventually I became the manager of that project. And as a manager, your main meditation is the feet of the bulls. Because they have those nals. If they walk on the tar road every day 15 kilometers, they need those nals. And if the nal falls off, then some bulls, they walk very straight. You may have a week time or a little longer, but some of them, they're turning their feet when they're stepping, then you have only 3-4 days time. So eventually I learned to do it myself, because it was so difficult to get this Nawala who does it. So from that point, I had a strong affection for bullocks and a dependence on bullocks. From there, I moved to Pandharpur, where first thing basically I did in Pandharpur, I built a goshala. So there also I had my relationship with the cows. And then when I shifted to Vrindavan, immediately that goshala service was given to me. I'm living in the goshala in Vrindavan. Also, my children grown up there. So I somehow or another, due to past life, I have always a relationship with the cows. Whereas in reality, I'm a repair and maintenance man. I'm a construction person. I'm a technical person. The cows are maybe a little bit slow for me sometimes.
Prabhuji, you are a very, very beautiful blend of devotion and service. As you rightly mentioned, when you were dependent on the bullocks and when you started serving them, you started feeling that affection. And I've heard this many times from devotees that service is the highest form of expression of love. And this is so true in your case. And I think, viewers, if we apply this to our lives, when we start serving somebody with our whole heart, we realize how attached we are and how dependent we are. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing your personal experiences with us. I really hope it touches the hearts of many, because it surely is touching mine. The next question is, what is the most rewarding aspect of your work?
No, no. We're always fruitful. Nah, I would say that serving the cows always brings you more near to Krishna, and ultimately, as devotees, we do want to be near to Krishna. I can share something very personal. It may be, it's almost at the edge of crossing the boundary of what we speak of. I remember in the very beginning when I came to Vrindavan, so we had a small bullock cart which brings the milk from the goshala to the temple, driven by one bullock. And so the person who was driving the milk was giving some milk away on the way and replacing, it's India, So I decided, hey man, I can drive a bullock cart. I was been 10 years on Padayatra. I could drive a 2-ton bullock cart in a narrow street. So hey, I can drive the milk. So I would cut some time out from my japa, go down to the goshala and jump on the bullock cart. So I remember sometimes coming back, driving this bullock cart in the goshala on that simple road under the trees. It was almost feeling like a nitya seva. The trees were alive and speaking. It's a very esoteric thing, but that's what it really is about, simple living. And actually, it was a very service to Krishna to bring the milk of Krishna's cows to the temple. It's like what you do in Vrindavan. So it was a very touching scene. I did that maybe 6 months or 1 year. I didn't do that for a very long time, that service, but it felt very connected.
For sure, Prabhuji. Whatever you described was so poetic in its raw form. When we experience certain things and they are so special to us that we cannot help but just feel about it, and not we are not able to express it completely. That's when we realize that this is an experience out of the world, when the
Yeah.
words are not enough to describe them, or the words certainly do not do justice to those experiences. Viewers, a very, very important message to learn, that whenever you're serving and whenever you're doing something and you feel like, I want to do this for the rest of my life, understand that maybe this is your Paramatma speaking to you. Take it seriously, do it for the rest of your life, and you will see how meaningful life you're living. Prabhuji,
And
thanks to you.
And as a preacher, naturally, if other people take up crop protection and agriculture or get some more inspiration from us, that is also a lot of a big reward in the game.
Sure, Prabhuji. The last question that I have for you, Prabhuji, after which we will be taking the audience's questions. दर्शकों, आपके प्रश्नों का समय हो चुका है. I'm sure all of you are with me, with Prabhuji in this conversation. As I mentioned earlier, you are not just here to listen to me and Prabhuji talk. You have an opportunity to voice your views, to ask your questions, to express your feelings as well. So make the most of this. Prabhuji, my last question to you is, what message would you like to convey to the viewers about the importance of cow protection in today's world?
It is very simple. Everyone is having this machine, and everyone is spends the whole day on this machine. And we are on our computer, we are on our television, we are in so many scenarios. As earlier was said, simple living and high thinking. So we have to somehow another turn around. How much we can do that on an individual level, everyone has to judge for himself. But we're living in life which is using a lot of energy. So the situation we are living in, where most of us are living, is not sustainable. It is just not sustainable. It is that good picture, somebody sits on a branch of a tree and he's sawing very enthusiastically as the very branch he's sitting on. So this life is not sustainable. I don't know how long this civilization is running the way it is running, but earlier or later it is coming to an end. So unless we're doing a turnaround, and this turnaround is supposed to be Vanashram Dharmas, this turnaround is supposed simple living and high thinking, and that is directly related to crop protection and agriculture. There is no other way around it. Unless people start growing their own food and their own grains, it would become very difficult to sustain. So that it's a bottom line. Try to take some time out, grow something for yourself, support people who grow something for themselves, and give them help.
Right.
So like that.
Sure. Prabhuji, you're showing us the mirror, and it's like we are turning our heads around, not wanting to see the mirror because we very well know what the mirror holds. As you said, this civilization needs a lot of energy. I remember watching a movie wherein this man would move out of the house in broad daylight and enter the office, and when he leaves the office, there's darkness everywhere. He goes in the office in the daylight, when he comes out it's night. He doesn't see sun, he doesn't move out, he has no time for himself, and this is like a loop. You just cannot escape it. You spoke about the rat race in the beginning. It's very sad to say that this very rat race is where people voluntarily enter in search of happiness. They keep moving around, they try everything in the power, they try and do everything that is being said, but still the thing that they came here for, it's nowhere to be seen. The happiness that they came here for is just nowhere to be seen. And somewhere I believe that the happiness that we're seeking, viewers, is in the things that Prabhuji just mentioned. The simple living, high thinking philosophy that Srila Prabhupada has given to all of us, it is in our favor. It is simpler, it is easier, and it is much more rewarding. Prabhuji, before I take the audience question, I have one more question for you. Prabhuji, when you say I went in Pandharpur and the first thing I did was I started a goshala. So, how do you start a goshala? What is the first thing you do in order to start a goshala?
Now, some animals were already there, but they were not nicely taken care of. So the first thing is to build a shelter.
Hmm.
And usually you build the shelter a little bit bigger than the audience you already have. So there is a place for extension. I brought some old Padayatra bulls there, and the cows which are there are taken care of. And then obviously in the moment you provide the facilities, and some more members are coming.
Right.
So I started growing grass for the cows. I started farming with the cow dung, and then I built a goshala, and I made sure that the cows are all protected, and the bulls.
Hmm. So small steps lead to a very, very big family. And it's very beautiful to know that you just somehow looked around and you realized that the animals are not being taken care of. And the first thing you did was you created a home for them, a warm place that makes them feel safe. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We have a question, Prabhuji, from a lady known as Purna. Cows are still not safe. Does ISKCON do anything to prevent gohatya?
That is very difficult because we're not in the government. So I said some of our goshalas are working with the government. We may take some animals which are being rescued by the government when they're stopping a truck or things like that. Particularly in Gujarat, we're having that scheme. But if you see the scale of things, we're insignificant in that game. First thing is we take care of our cows and we make sure that our cows are really happy and that we are taking ahimsa milk and we're taking care, we're giving an example. I don't think beyond that we don't have the capacity, the size. The sheer size is like unimaginable. How many people are in India and how much milk consumption is there and how many animals are there. So no, I don't think. Even that actually was part of the present government's agenda to stop cow slaughter. Even they are not able to do that.
Right. It will surely take a lot of time, Prabhuji. It will take a lot of time. I was actually doing a research and I realized that the dairy consumption is very, very high in India. And it is very, very sad to know that India is the, I mean, I think second largest or the third largest exporter of beef, which
Yes,
made me very, very sad.
yes, it's including buffalo. So, but yes, yes, it is. It used to be one of, I think, the largest or second largest. Now it is the third largest. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So even in a proper sense, you're not allowed to kill a cow. But then there is some clause of unproductive animals, sick animals, this animal. So at every slaughterhouse there will be one doctor who certifies one animal after another in order to create a loophole, and in this way, yeah, it is very sad. It is very sad. It is mostly supplying other Asian countries and Middle East.
Right. So Purna, you asked about ISKCON, and as Prabhuji said, it is not in ISKCON's hand, but ISKCON is making sure that every cow that is under their shelter is protected and kept safe till the cow's last breath. But collectively, there's something all of us can do, and that is maybe support ISKCON, who is doing everything in its power, maybe not buy products from these dairies who we for a fact know is exploiting cows and animals. Because there's something all of us can do, and that's our power. We have to do everything that is in our hands, and if everybody starts doing this, then the consequences will come to life. Another question from Drama. I live in a big city, that is Mumbai. How can I serve cows? Please guide.
As I earlier said, obviously everyone can serve his money, but is that is very much appreciated. But more than that, find out. I think there's the Bhaktivedanta, that eco village is there. You can go there at least when you ever can afford it, when you have the time, means a vehicle, and go out there and pet the cows and feed some grass to the cows and engage there and engage, actually interact with the animals. This is always my first step. You interact with the animals, and then on the other hand, what I said earlier, you see how you can stop using some of their products which you actually don't require.
Hmm. A lot of introspection is needed, a lot of self analysis is needed, because somewhere or the other, intentionally, unintentionally, knowing, unknowingly, all of us are in a chain and we are supporting the people who do commit offenses against mother cows. So,
It is almost impossible. You call it. You said the right word. It's one chain, and we all one link in that. So it is. It seems to be impossible to drop out, but everyone can do some small steps, and everyone can get himself a little bit
mhm.
this vermicompost from cow dung or some little cow dung. Put a little pot somewhere and grow one tomato or do something and like that.
For
In the
sure,
moment,
Prabhu.
the moment you grow something, then you need fertilizer, and then you see the importance of cow dung. See, many people are thinking that the agriculture all over the world works on chemical fertilizer,
Hmm.
and that is also not true. if you not provide organic matter into a field and you just put chemical fertilizers, within 3, 4, 5 years, nothing will grow there anymore. The plants will come like bonsai plants. They will not even get dark green. They will be like almost yellow color. Without organic matter, without organic farming, this will not work. On top of the organic matter, this chemical fertilizers, the only thing will do, provide fast growth to plants which have no substance actually. I mean, I've grown organic vegetables. It's not only they're tasting better, they have more substance, they're actually even bigger. But they're not all become the same size. So that's why they're not very much appreciated. And they not have all the same shape. And they not have all the same color. They're more individual. People like to use the fertilizers that in no amount of time, it's faster, get all the same item which they can sell on the shelf, which look very good, which actually have hardly any taste and hardly any substance.
I think, Prabhuji, now the point that you made some time ago is completely clear to me. Some time ago, you told us that the people who do have cows, they sell them or they sell the bulls once the cow stops giving the milk. But as you mentioned, the cow dung is the game changer, or maybe say the hero in this movie, because if you have a goshala and a farm with it, even after the cow stops giving the milk, the cow dung is still supplied, the cow dung is still coming out, which can be used as a fertilizer for your farm, and you can grow your own things, your own vegetables. So even after the milk is stopped, you still don't consider the cow as useless, because the cow dung is very much useful.
Yes.
Okay.
Lakshmi resides in the cow dung. If
Right.
you, as a beginning, we want the philosophy. So after all the demigods have taken shelter in the cow, Lakshmi came late, and there was only the dung was left. So she happily took shelter in that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. There's another question. Ananya, is praying for Gomata by chanting helpful for their souls?
Yeah, why not? But um, like like if you pray for Tulsi every morning, we have in at least in the ISKCON temple we have a Tulsi prayer, and we're praying to Tulsi. We are praying to Tulsi for our benefit. We're asking Tulsi, please make us a resident of Vrindavan. So the same thing, when you serve the cows, ultimately the cows are served, but ultimately you are benefited. The body in the soul in the form of which comes in the form of the cow is already a blessed body. Yes, but hey, if you pet the cows, you chant for the cows, the cow definitely will get the same benefit as you are getting. Everyone who hears the holy name and being prayed for is benefited.
I once heard cows are Krishna's best buddies. If you serve cows, you have an early access to Goloka, or better said, there's no other restriction or barrier in your way of Goloka, because Goloka means the lok of cows itself. So serving cows is very, very important.
So actually, I don't know. That's a bit high philosophy. Even if uh, you're a very good devotee and you leave this body and you're eligible for going back to Krishna, still you go to another Bauma Vrindavan where the Leela is going on within the universe, and there you take the time final training how to be a good caretaker of cows, rather and male or female gopi or gopa, and then you go to the spiritual world. Unless you may be a all life pujari who's like already very nicely knows how to take care of Krishna from morning to evening.
I mean, that's how important cow protection is. That's how irreplaceable it is. It's absolutely irreplaceable. There is no alternative available to cow protection and serving the mother cow. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for bringing this absolutely needed piece of information to light. The next question is by Nigam Das. Hare Krishna Prabhu, can we drink buffalo milk? We get this in our dairy. Is it okay?
Um, I don't want to be brutal here. there used to be a saying, something like buffalo milk or buffalo brain or something. I forgot. In Hindi, some saying is there. So Balaram likes buffalo dahi. Okay, fine. I traveled in the Himalaya and we crossed the mountains and we've been, on the meadows on top of the mountains in the summer. The buffaloes and cows are grazing, and you drink the buffalo of those buffaloes who only eaten fresh green grass. It's almost as good as cow milk. Buffaloes don't have pores. They're actually supposed to be in the water for hours and hours and hours. So that's why they don't have skin pores. It's a different setup. A normal animal which has skin pores cannot be prolonged in the water because the skin will get soaked. So that means part of their toxicity, when it comes out to the dung, it comes out to the urine, it also comes out to the milk. So that's why usually we're saying, and you see, we're drinking milk in order to develop our finer brain tissues, which help us to perform devotional service. So I can't say if it is better to have no milk or to have buffalo milk. That you would have to decide yourself.
Sure, Prabhuji.
I'm not even sure if it is. I think Akbar asked Birbal something like that, and the subject was milk. And he asked that same type of a question. And he said, is it better to drink cow milk or buffalo milk? And he said, buffalo. No. I understand my question. Cow or buffalo? No, he said buffalo. And the third time he asked, then finally he said, how is this possible? And then he said, yeah, that is not milk. This is amrit from the cow. He didn't put it in the same category.
Right. I mean, Akbar and Birbal, the people that you're talking about, they are the people who have been there in the history for a very, very, very long time ago. And I think that is the exact time where cow and cow milk was worshipped the way it should be worshipped. And this is why Birbal did not even consider cow milk to be a thing, because anything that is coming out of mother cow is not just mere milk, it's amrit. And we are so fortunate to be living around cows, but it's again so unfortunate for us to not realize that it's not milk but amrit. uh, Drummer is asking another question, one more question. I want to know about paneer. How can I get pure paneer?
If you take pure milk and turn it into paneer yourself at home, under your eyes, in your kitchen. Otherwise, chances are very slim. As so much alteration. I don't want to go in great details. What is all used? It is from harmless things like soya powder or something like that. Basically, you rather you're actually eating a tofu. You're not actually eating a paneer. But it goes also to harmful chemicals and harmful minerals and items. We don't want to go there. So if you want a pure paneer, you're better. And then again, when you buy the milk, the dairy milk from the shop, you don't know what is there. People produce milk they can produce milk without a single drop of milk and sell it to you, and you feel it's maybe milk. Like me staying in the goshala in Vrindavan, I'm not a great milk consumer actually. On top of that, but that little milk I'm consuming, I'm used to that taste. So when I travel somewhere in a city and somebody say, hey, you want a glass of hot milk, I always say, I'm sorry, I don't want milk. Why you don't want milk? I don't really say it, because I know finally when that glass is in front of me and I'll drink that has nothing to do with the taste I'm used to. Nothing. I mean, nothing. It's not nearly has a similarity. So that it's unfortunate, but that is the situation.
Right. In fact, my next question was linked to this, Prabhuji, that not many people drink milk, at least in the cities. That is what I've observed so far. But the other dairy products, for example, paneer, cheese, yogurt, and ghee, dahi. These things are a very, very important part of the diet today. And anything, whether it is, any sort of dish, maybe it is a sandwich or if it is a normal pizza, whatever, cheese is a very, very important part of this. So even if we compromise on milk, or maybe we give up on milk, because any which way, the brain developing tissues that you spoke about, there are many other ways to develop that. But when it comes to taste, how do we get the taste from other than cheese or other than butter? How do you at least manage it in your personal life?
I don't know. As devotees, we're not great friends of soya, but you can also. I think even with chickpea flour, you can make a tofu, and that alterates the thing just fine. They have those crackers, this soya chunks, and the soya chunks also comes as wheat chunks. There's always something similar, and at the end you get used to that. You will never look back to the other item. It is always like many people are non-vegetarians. So if you say they become vegetarians, they're very surprised. How is possible? But I don't know. I don't feel anything missing. I was a vegetarian before I became a Hare Krishna. I don't feel anything missing. What is missing in my life, food-wise? There's so many items we can make. So there's so many items which are similar to paneer, but who are not paneer. And there's so. Besides that, is most probably even unhealthy. But leave that apart.
Right. Prabhuji, this concept again that you introduced about shifting from non-vegetarian to vegetarian, it again surprises so many people. Many believe it is absolutely impossible. And in this debate, the main hero, or maybe the one thing that they use to escape or change the direction of the debate, is protein. Non-vegetarians always quote that the meat is the, or maybe the eggs, fishes, they are a very big source of protein. And there are not many items available in vegetarian world that give us protein. But again, this debate is absolutely useless, because many people have come forward and they have spoken about it openly. And again, I
Many
understand. Hmm.
many Olympic sportsmen are vegetarians.
Right. Many athletes, many cricketers. And the best thing, Prabhuji, is that all of them were not vegetarians right from the beginning of their life. They were all non vegetarians. They have experienced it, tasted it, they have faced the consequences, and then they have taken a conscious decision to give up on meat, which is why it makes so much sense. Uh, Again, the another question is from Ritu Parna Bhattacharya. Prabhuji, as a student, how can I create awareness for cow protection in the society?
It's the same thing as I earlier said. You can always um, preach to your other cowmates about the bad effect of commercial dairy, and you can preach about mother cow. And we have cow products you can find near your situation. You find out a person who's promoting cow urine, or producing this distilled cow urine, gohatya, and there's so many items which are made from cow dung, and you can promote those, and then people will find out the usefulness of mother cow. Or you find yourself a farm or a goshala nearby where you can participate, and you can take some of your other students there. It is all about preaching. Same like we preach about the Maha Mantra, we can preach about Gomata. I
Sure.
hope that satisfies you. It is a very big field, how to make people aware. Uh, we could say, hey, just take them to the cow next door, but there is no more cow next door. We are far away from the cow, so it is more theoretical preaching to first make people understand the importance of mother cow and the benefits. If you serve mother cow, or use the non-dairy products like go arc, or cow dung patties. Oh, so many items are there.
Right. In fact, Prabhuji, considering the scenario today, considering the distance between mother cow and our world today, I feel like a day at the goshala will be the perfect break from for
Yes.
everybody. And it will feel so nice. You'll feel so connected. You will want to visit that place more often, and you will effortlessly fall in love with the place. I think everybody should give this a try.
Yes.
The next question is Prabhuji from Kajol. Hare Krishna, why is cow only our mother and not buffalo? Please address.
See, in this material world, we have to adore to scripture. The scripture is also our mother. The scripture is our guide. It is like when you, let's say, I buy a new television set, or even you buy a new smartphone, you buy any new appliance, there's always a little booklet. And in this booklet, it gives you how to operate that item. So when originally Brahma came into existence, who basically created this whole universe, he was hearing the Chatusloki from Lord Vishnu. He's given the original Vedic knowledge, which then came down in Guru Parampara. So in scripture it says that you worship Mother Cow. So you could say if I'm a baby and the family next door to me, or I'm in a village in Bihar and I only grow up with buffalo milk, then the buffalo is also a mother to you. Okay,
Right.
but the scripture very much promotes the cow as one of the seven mothers, not the buffalo. So we have to stick to the scripture there.
True.
And cow milk develops your brain, and buffalo maybe develops your muscles. It's a different scenario. Does that make sense? I hope so.
Yes, Prabhuji. I mean, whatever is written in the scriptures is the absolute undebatable truth. But sometimes we have to go according to the time, place, and circumstances. And even in the juvenile system, even in the justice system, there's something called as circumstantial evidence, and it is very much taken into consideration. So, as you said, if we are born in a village where there's no cows but only buffaloes, so in that scenario, maybe we can look up to the buffaloes as mothers since we're drinking their milk. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. The next question is something that I've already asked you. So maybe this viewer joined late. Again, maybe Prabhuji, you can drop some limelight to this. Prabhuji, how did you get attracted to Gaumata?
As a servant of Krishna, ultimately, we want to go to the planet of the cows. We want to worship the supreme cow herd. I was on Padayatra, I was serving with the bulls. In Pandharpur, we were having cows. So it seems to be a past life attraction. I'm already heading in, is inbuilt in me. So like that.
Right. Prabhuji, I have a question in mind. I mean, the life that you described, living in a goshala, having a farm attached, and growing your own things. This is what the people in city who live. They term this as a retirement plan. For them, what you're doing currently is a retirement plan. But since you are living the retirement plan already, what is your retirement plan?
I don't think as devotees we're retiring, right?
Sure.
Right?
Right.
What we're doing today, we're trying to do tomorrow, and the same thing we try to do until the end of our life, and then maybe the same thing we want to do in the spiritual world as well. Worship Krishna, take care of the cows.
Also, Prabhuji, because you are doing something that you believe is your purpose, because you are doing something that brings you inner peace and joy, you would never want to retire personally.
No,
Uh,
no.
so, Prabhuji, what do you want to say to people who look up to this as a retirement plan?
Yeah, fantastic, nice idea. But see, it is like I'm living in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, I would say 70% of the flats are empty because people purchase them as a retirement plan. But in reality, they're coming very rarely because they
Mhm.
got very much used to the city life. So some people come in old age. and then they participate and they do spiritual things. So it's not easy to change. It's a how you say, the fag end of your life. It's not that easy to change. Then you're doing something for 60, 70 years of age, the city life, and then you're thinking, now I'm going to go to some rural place, and uh, as I said, then comes this quiet moment where you only hear nothing, then your mind, and then you get shocked. And so yeah, it is definitely good to have that plan, and I hope as many people as possible can move out of the rat race, leave the rat race, and find a rural environment where they can actually live like human beings.
Right. Prabhuji, this example is very often given where we speak about the flowers that we offer to the Lord. We always offer fresh flowers, and even if it comes to food, we make sure that the bhoga is offered directly after the cooking is done. We do not offer flowers that are almost on the verge of dying. We do not offer stale food. So we should also offer ourselves when we are fresh, when we are young, when we are filled with energy. Prabhuji, please enlighten something.
Yeah, that is obviously, but it's not everyone can full-time join the temple, right?
Mhm.
It is not that is something you have to cultivate for some time. But yes, I always give that as an example. I don't want to be negative. I always give that as an encouraging example for devotees. Sometimes when we look at each other, we don't appreciate each other a lot. But I say always look at these people who come to visit our temple in Vrindavan. It's a holy place. 30,000 people, I think, come by every single day. It's after COVID, we have a lot of running population coming through. And just imagine, you see sometimes in Chandan Yatra, we are grinding the Chandan, no?
Hmm.
And so our devotee is sitting for hours and grinding the Chandan. So just think, the so-called dedicated wizard, you will ask him, hey, can you grind Chandan for 5 minutes? So most people might say no. But if you ask someone, hey, can you grind Chandan for an hour? Oh, most people would straight away say no. And then if you ask people, hey, can you grind Chandan also again this afternoon at 4 o'clock? Can you come back? And you will find out that everyone will say no. So the catch is here that you actually dedicate some of your time and actually do something physically. You make an actual endeavor. That is
Hmm.
that is what we earlier said. That is actual service.
Right. And how we approach people makes a lot of difference here.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this skill. Sheetal Sharma has another important question, Prabhuji. There are so many varieties of cows. So, which cow's milk should we consume?
No, no, I'm not going for that. Uh, I, under, I understand what you're saying. Any cow which is dear to you, you please consume that milk. Some people say the A2 milk and this milk, the gear cow, or this have Sahiwal cows. Or other people have those miniature cows. No, no, a cow is a cow. And if you ask me which cow milk, then please try to find ahimsa milk, which that would be the best.
In fact, the very purpose of this discussion is to make people understand that no matter what variety you fall for, what variety you choose, it does have violence attached. In fact, violence is a very, very important and, as I said, irrepressible part of the dairy industry. So there's only one variety we need to choose, and that is ahimsa milk. Please, viewers, let us stand together for this cause because that is the very purpose of this session.
Yes.
Another question from Jenny, Prabhuji. Why can we not avoid eating dairy products?
No, we can. Why can't we? There's
Exactly.
there are tons of vegans. They live their lives very happily. you do need a certain vitamin B, something you need as a supplement. But besides that, you're just fine without milk products mostly. And as opposite, most of us old gents, we have problem in the prostate. And one of the main point for getting that is an overdose of milk products. There's two factors. Basically, any disease is coming from swelling. In one way or another, it's coming from agitation, and agitation comes very much from sugar and comes very much from an overdose of milk products.
Sure. In fact, probably what I believe is that this question is somewhere rooted in frustration, because people feel that they are so attached to something that even when they want to give up on something, they just can't, because of which they are frustrated. But I think there is no room for this frustration in this institution called ISKCON, because this is an institution where people are so nicely groomed. Everything that a person is attached to, every wrong thing that a person is attached to, everything that a person thinks I cannot live without this, is effortlessly left behind by the power of the holy name and by the awakening of the consciousness. So, Jenny, if you associate with good people around, if you associate with devotees, Prabhuji has mentioned a lot of ways how you can connect to the farms in Vrindavan. I'm sure you will be very easily able to give up on dairy products. Prabhuji, we have one last question related to the mother cow, and then we'll call it a night. Ananya is asking, is it true that if a cow licks our hand, our bad plumb lines will be erased? Palm lines.
Well, the cows are very auspicious, so why not? I couldn't say. There is many things are there in the Vedic scriptures, which are very philosophical, and then there is many other things are mentioned, which are not so much, which would be very secondary. So we can also say, if I'm clapping my hands in front of the deity, Srila Prabhupada even said, then your karma is getting diminished. So why not? I wouldn't say why not. All the demigods are residing in the body of the cow. And so Yamaraj is also there, and Yamaraj sees that you are touching a cow, but actually the backside of the cow is pure. The mouth is not.
Sure. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very, very informative and enlightening session. It was my biggest fortune to talk to you personally, to know so many things from you. And I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of all the viewers and on behalf of the world, for taking care of mother cows, because she's not just your mother, she's my mother as well. But you're single handedly doing it for all of us, with the help of ISKCON, with the help of so many devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for taking out your time, for doing your best, and for addressing all my questions and my viewers' questions so patiently. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me today. Hare Krishna, giving me an opportunity to share.
Sure. My dear viewers, I hope this session could bring some information to you. This session could help you think differently. Now, this session will make you think twice before you purchase any dairy related item. Our guest, Sanatan Prabhuji, was born and brought up in Berlin. He has served a lot, and in fact, he has been serving all his life. And I did not tell this about him to you in the beginning, but our guest, Sanatan Prabhuji, was diagnosed with cancer at a very, very young age. And by God's grace, he survived. After which, he started to think again and again on his life's purpose. And he started to think that death can come at any moment. It is our firm responsibility to understand the depth and the seriousness of the situation. Prabhuji is not even an Indian, so called Indian by birth, but all of us are. So, somebody who is not an Indian is coming to India and is taking care of the cows and is educating Indians on how to take care of the cows. I don't think there is anything else we have to wait for. Let us come together, stand together, do everything in our power. And let me again remind you, It starts with saying no to dairy products, at least those products जिनके sources के बारे में आप sure नहीं हैं. The products that you're not sure from where they are coming from. I hope this session brought a change in your life. Thank you so much.